Howdy everyone, this is LockNutz, and you're watching a map tour of Swiss Future Farm by Oxygendavid. Hopefully you'll stick around to see what happens. Howdy, how are you guys doing today? Oh my goodness, I tell you what, today we get to go on a map tour of Swiss Future Farm by Oxygendavid. This little bad mamma jamma is 289.7 megabytes to download and is very cross-platform friendly. This map is based in Switzerland, as you may guess, and it is a replica of a real-life farm, so you got that going for you. Now, one of the things that I've gone ahead and done here is I started this off on new farmer mode. That way you guys know what you get when you do start off in new farmers mode. So, with that being said, guys, let's jump right in and take a look at the equipment you'd be starting with. Alright everyone, so here is your equipment. Now you only have small tractors, so let's jump right in. Taking off right off the bat, we have a Fendt Favorite, and you have 1, 2, 3 Vultras, the G105, not too shabby, and that is followed up with 2 Massey Ferguson's MF5S105. Altogether, guys, not too shabby at all, not too shabby when it comes to tractors. Now, harvesters, you have a couple things happening here. You have the Fendt Ideal 9T, and that does come along with the Fendt grain header, and that does give you a header trailer. You also have a forage harvester right here, the Fendt Katana, not too shabby. Heading over here, you have the Crampy half pipe, not too shabby with that. Cultivators, you have the Lemken cultivator and the Horsch cultivator. Disc harrows, you have a Horsch Joker. Planters, you have a Lemken planter, and this is actually just the additional tank. Weeder, you have this a Truffler weeder. Front loaders, you have a Quickie front loader. You have telehandler stuff. You have a universal bucket, pallet fork, wrapping bale handler, and bale forks. And that is it. That's all you got. So let's go ahead, jump in, and take a look at the map. And here is your map. As you can see, there's a lot of space around the outside of this map. So you have this center portion. Don't let that fool you, because I drove from right here all the way up to there, and I tell you what, it's way longer than you would think. But with that being said, you do have a lot of nice irregular shaped fields on here. Kind of curvy, a little wavy, not too bad. Good road system for going through here as well. That's definitely something that helps out a ton. And there is the shop, animal dealer, and most importantly, the BGA. Now, when you do start off in new farmers mode, you do actually have the BGA as one of your production chains. So kind of keep that in mind. That is yours to rock and roll with. Now, taking a look at the fields, you can buy everything. You can buy the whole exterior, as you can go ahead and click on this, and it costs $0. When you start off on new farmer mode, that's when you have it. If you don't start off in new farmer mode, don't worry, it still costs $0 and it is purchasable. But when you do start off in new farmers mode, you start off with field 26, 4, 11, 12, 13, and 18. And one unique thing is I didn't mention the starting farm. That's because the starting farm is part of this exterior. That's something very unique to this map, I'd have to say. You don't see that too often. Normally it's on a plot of land that costs anything. On this map, it's free. That's a win if you ask me. Now, taking a look at the prices of fields here, you start off with little old field 10, and that is the cheapest field on the map, coming in at $35,000. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, you're looking at field 24 up here as the big dog, coming in at $591,000. So altogether, there's quite the span for prices. Now, kind of bopping around looking at some of this stuff, some of the fields, if you ask me, are a little high priced. Other fields, they seem like they're right in line. So it's going to be kind of hit or miss. Once you get out there and take a look at the fields, we'll really be able to understand what's going on here. There are a couple little grass meadows in here, which you could potentially get yourself up and running and start a farm on one of those if you would like to. But once we get out there, you kind of see there'll have to be a lot of terraforming to have that happen. So with that being said, let's get down on the ground, drive around, and see what I'm talking about. All right, everyone, and here is the farm. This is the future farm, the Swiss future farm. It is based, like I said before, on a real map, or a real place and a real farm. So all of this stuff is actually here in real life. Actually, when you go to download the game or download the mod, there's actually a picture, or the loading screen is a picture of the real farm on there. So that's pretty darn neat. With that being said, guys, I've gone ahead and tried it. You cannot delete any of these buildings, so try as might as you want to, it just isn't gonna happen. I've also gone ahead and checked it out. There are no extra placeables or anything like that, so kind of keep your eyeballs open. If you don't like this farm and don't like this particular setup, you can't do anything with it. You're gonna have to either just deal with it, or like I said, there's the couple areas where you may have to do a little terraforming, but at least you can go ahead and do what you'd like to do. So, like I said, this farm here is actually a big tourist attraction, and with that being said, like, that's the reason for a lot of that. Some of these buildings on here are just decorations, so storage-wise, there's not a ton, but there are some storage locations on here. You do have access to, let me just double check so I'm not leading you astray, a pig pasture, a cow barn, a sheep pasture, and a horse pasture. So if you get this farm here, you have all that stuff, and it's kind of unique and neat little setups. It's not your standard plain Jane animal enclosure, so that's pretty darn neat. You have your sheep enclosure over there, or your pig enclosure over there. Nothing over here, but it does look like it's pretty darn neat. Again, there's a lot of these little details on here that are pretty much just for looks. They're aesthetic value there. It is pretty neat. It is pretty neat. You do start off with a slurry tank, though, so that is very, very nice. With your other animals, okay, you have some little bits and bobs areas right in there where you can go ahead and kind of put stuff down. 2 bunker silos, not too shabby at all. But all in all, guys, like I said, this main farm area, there's not a lot that you can go ahead and do in here. You do have these long buildings that are like this. There's one here and there's one over on the other side that open like this, and this is what you got for storage. So even though there are a ton of buildings on here, don't worry about it. You do have 2 large buildings that you can actually go ahead and use. Yeah, so let's keep on going around here. Yeah, let's go around this way over here. Take a look at the cow barn. Because, like I said, it is neat. They're not your same old cow barns. It's not the same old sheep enclosures. So it is very, very neat to be able to see different things out here. All right, you got your cow barn right here. This is part of it. And then if you come on over here, wham, it's the other section of the cow barn. So it's actually divided up amongst 2 buildings, which is awfully, awfully neat. Awfully neat. Let's head around the backside where they keep all their scrap and whatnot, and head on over here. All right, what do we got over here? You got your sheep pasture. It's kind of neat because it's just kind of an open range sort of setup. Pretty cool, pretty cool. A lot of trust in those sheeps not to wander away. I know I said sheeps, but you know what? I don't care. All right, so let's get ourselves rocking and rolling out here. One thing I want to do really quick, guys, is I want to go ahead and bring up the map in the corner. That way you guys can kind of follow along with me as we go on our whirlwind tour. Now we're going to drive across the road here really, really quick, because as you can see, we have a harvester over here, and because we have a harvester over on this side, more storage, you betcha, more storage over on this side. It's not just the same old on the clutter of the farm over there, the standard farm. You do have a little bit of storage over here to kind of make your way, escape from the tourist street section over there. So we'll kind of jump back in here, drive through, and keep on going on to kind of get ourselves rocking and rolling. Now, one thing I want you to remember is, like I said, some of these fields here, they may have a little bit of an incline. So got to kind of keep your eyes peeled, watch what you're doing. Pretty much all the fields have something on it. Horsepower wise, you're going to want to probably have a little bit more horsepower. I know you have the tractors that you have up there that are starting tractors. As long as you go ahead and have implements that don't require as much. What am I getting at that? If you have a tractor that is a 100 horsepower tractor, but your implement only requires 50, well, you're well over that implement threshold, that being able to come out here and handle these fields, you probably should be okay. You still may want to look at getting something a little bit beefier, but there still is that option to get out there and rock and roll with what you got going on. Because as you can see right here, you know, maybe for a little bit this might work, but that's an awfully intense incline right there for this grass field. Still, would be kind of neat. Would be kind of neat. Let's keep ourselves rocking and rolling back over here. Try and not make a mess. Perfect. All right. And as you guys can see, there's not... This is going to be the same as we go throughout this entire thing. There aren't a lot of fields on here that have really drastic bumps or nicks or anything like that. It's pretty much like this, where if you tilt your head, it's flat. If that makes sense to you, it's nothing where it's, like I said, super drastic or anything like that. Imagine you laying on a bed and having a blanket over your feet. Your feet are sticking up in there. Like those large lumps that your feet create, you're not going to see any of that on these fields. It's all very gentle and rolling. Still, there's a... Don't want to go that way. But still with like that general sense of, all right, this is nice and neat and calming. Nothing too absolutely stressful or drastic or anything like I just said. But still, like I said, there's a lot of rolling hills, big rolling hills, which kind of gives you a nice feel as you're driving around here, taking a look at it. It doesn't seem like there's anything too intense. There is, once we get over to the other side, there are some fields that are less pleasant, I guess is a great way of saying it. It's going to be less pleasant to be doing things on them, but still, you're not having those very sharp lumps in the middle of the field or anything like that. So if those are things that really do bother you, don't worry about it on here, because you're not going to find that here. So we're kind of caught right here. Oh yeah, it just takes a little bit of speed, a little determination, and a little willpower, you betcha. Now, we're going to drive over these tracks. I have not seen any train come yet while I've been on here, so I don't know if one does come. Alright, a little bit more momentum. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so here is your BGA over here, and like I said, you start off in New Farmers mode. It is here. It's ready to go. It's ready to rock, so don't worry about it. You got it covered. Let's keep on heading over here towards the hill, because like I said, once we get over here, this is where it gets to be some of the more rough terrain. I'm just going to say rough terrain, even though it's not super rough. Like I said, very smooth going up the hills, very smooth going down the hill, very gentle transition, but it gets to be steep. It really does get to be steep over here. So if you decide that you want to tackle these fields, you really have to make sure you're going to go ahead and work the fields in a way that makes sense. Try not to drive up this hill, because that's going to be absolutely horrible. If you can, try and drive down or go side to side. It kind of stinks because it's hard. It's hard. This is a very steep hill, but definitely worth the challenge, I would go ahead and say. Now we're getting over here to our two largest fields on the map here, field 23 and 24. And as you can see, field 23 has like a nice, almost like a boomerang shaped dip over here. Pretty darn cool how that ends up rolling and rocking over here. And then coming down to our final large field, it is field 24, and it is pretty darn big. If you're out there going ahead and farming this field, let's say you're using the cultivator with that equipment we have up there. If you have all those small vehicles, potentially hiring some helpers or getting some friends, that might help to get this job done a little bit quicker. But using that equipment up there and then trying to tackle this field might be slightly difficult. Either way, it depends on what your gameplay style is. I wouldn't worry about it if it's not in your realm to want to grab any of these large fields, but if it is in your scope, well, you know what you're doing, so. Alright, so this is one of the plots I wanted to stop at really quick. It's not bad. Like I was saying, if you really want to get out here and do some farming, or even have this area as your starting farm location, you probably going to have to do some terraforming. This lower section down here would be perfect to get yourself up and running, rocking and rolling, doing all that stuff right over in this corner, this low area. Then I don't know if you'd want to maybe just mow that or plan on putting a building up there, but make like terraces coming down. I'm not sure how you'd go about doing it to make it look neat. I'm sure you guys may have an image in your head. Comment down below, let me know. What would you like to do on that? Let me know. I really want to know. Would you want to go ahead and have terrace or just have stuff down at the bottom? It's entirely up to you. Let's head on over this way really quick, and yeah, there we go. Let's go this way over by the edge. Perfect. Again, guys, you're seeing this same thing happen over and over here on this one. Like I said, you have the rolling fields, you have the very gradual, very gradual elevation changes, but all in all, it's not too bad. It's very doable. It's very able to go ahead and do that. I think all in all, it does definitely look like you could make magic happen with this. And as you can see, that starting farm is right in front of us, so I think that's time for us to hop on out. Go ahead, stretch your wings, and fly up in the sky and take a look at this one from a bird's eye view. Alright everyone, so let's fly up into the sky and take a look at this thing from up above. Now guys, like I said, this is based off of a real area, a real farm in Switzerland. Yes, it is a real country. I've checked a map. You better believe it. So like I said guys, this is a nice rolling landscape. You really get a nice view of it when you're up here. Just this general valley sense where you got, oh, the hills going up all over the place. Very neat. The starting farm is done up, looks very accurate to what it is like in real life. That is very cool. You got your BGA right over there. There's the BGA. You got your BGA over there selling locations. Very cool. You got your large fields. Like I said, with this being kind of a narrow thing, don't let that fool you. That drive from over there to get all the way over to that and does take quite a bit of time. Big fields, medium-sized fields, really have maybe one or two small-sized fields. Contracts are available on this map, so guys, if you want to get out there, rock and roll, make the magic happen, get some friends on, get together, do some farming, cut some grass, whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead and make the magic happen. Guys, comment down below. Let me know what you think of this one. Tell me, is it real? Is it real? Is it just like what you imagined? Or would you imagine something else? And if you guys are liking what you're hearing, liking what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that like button. I really would appreciate it. Hit that notification bell, have it turned on, and all that way you know when this and other great videos are coming out by myself. Go ahead and sub to the channel. Holy cats, does it ever mean a lot. Guys, until I see you next time, thanks for stopping by.